So, my name is Shannon Clements. So call me the nomadic author. Others call me mentor. Why? Because I like to think a lot. And what I'm thinking about right now is what I was just looking at. I'm gonna make this real quick. Somebody went old school than a motherfucker, didn't they? I was like, when I saw this coming out, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I know I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, but hold on. Yeah, I had to go ahead and get back into my truck, you know, so it started to get a little louder and everything. And so here I am back in my truck, you know, get ready to get back on the road. You know, it's got a long way ahead of me, traveling about almost 800 miles. Actually, I started yesterday. It was like a 980 mile trip. You know what I'm saying? I got like a little under like 700 left to go. And I'm getting ready to go ahead and pull out of here. I had to stop through here and grab me something to drink though. And grab me some victuals, you know, grab me a little sandwich or whatever to get me started on the road. Because there's some other things I want to talk about while I'm on the road. I just want to put this down. So that way, I would be hands-free, as they call it, driving down the road. So go ahead and get started. And see, as you can see, there's a fireworks shop right across the way. I'm hating that it's not later in the day, because as you can see on that sign on the side of the building, it say barbecue. Man, a lot of these places be making this barbecue so good that it like fall off the bone type deal. And it'd be so good, nice and soft too, you know, and it's really enjoyable to eat. You know, it's just like the meat just melt right in your mouth. And then you can also stop there and grab some fireworks while you're at it, which I might do one of these days. You know, just gotta find somewhere where I can shoot them off at. I remember a long time ago, I bought some down in New Mexico. I bought about 4 or 5 cakes, and it was around 4th of July, you know. And I said I ain't got nowhere to pop these things, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna pull over on the side of the road. Wait till it's good and dark, pull over to the side of the road, and do what I'm gonna do. And I enjoyed myself that night too, because way out in the desert, ain't nobody driving around at night anyway. Because that's the reason why I said. Remember, I told you that's one of the reasons why I like doing the nighttime driving, because there's not that many people out on the road with you. Everybody drives the day shift, and also, you know what I'm saying, it gives you a little serenity, a peace of mind. But here's the question of the day. If telepathy actually exists, then how can you have a peace of mind if everybody is invading your mind? So, in other words, telepathy is basically invasion of privacy. You have no privacy. Everybody in your business. Everybody know your business. Everybody know everything that you do. So is it really telepathy? Or is it people with a certain type of technology? Here's another spot that sell fireworks. That's just two spots. This is just a little fireworks haven over here. You know, you got the discount. Well, that's discount beer and all the other stuff. But you got Hell Fireworks. You got Fireworks World, and then you got the barbecue place with fireworks, and of course, oh shit, big ass potholes. All up and down. That's one of the things I meant to mention. You know, you just got to be careful when coming through here, because They got a lot of potholes. As you can see, the truck is jumping. But anyways, they got M90s. Salute, they call them salute firecrackers. And they got, man, they sell cherry bombs here? Wow, I thought that shit was illegal. But you know, I'm not even gonna say nothing. I might just grab a few later on when I pass through here again. And see exactly how loud it was and why exactly they were considered illegal. Figure out why cherry bombs was illegal. And M80s, you know, they got M90s, so M90s, are they louder than M80s? But it can't be, because if M80s is illegal, then M90s will be illegal. But that's getting completely off what I was talking about. I was talking about telepathy. If telepathy is real, wouldn't that be considered by law an invasion of privacy? What if the police officers had use of telepathy, the ability to read your mind? What is your mind supposed to be the most secure thing that you have? Even more secure than that of a glove compartment box or even your trunk, which would mean they would have to get a judge's say-so in order to search your trunk or your glove compartment. What about if telepathy existed and they was reading your mind? Wouldn't that be illegally obtaining information from your mind? Or as they would call, what would they call it in the courts? Unlawful searches and seizures. You had the right to be able to tell the officer that's unlawful search and seizures of my mind, officer. You know, it's just things to think about. You know, if it really was true, you got psychics out here who claim that it is real. You have certain groups that teach that it's real, and they even say that they can show and prove everything that they say. And so now you have to wonder, government, a lot of things come through the government. They doing all this scientific experimentation and stuff, and they're not telling you, the public, about it. But wouldn't that make the government responsible for teaching and training these soldiers how to use telepathy or even telekinesis or any of that other good stuff? And they're coming out, and them soldiers coming out using it on the public, which is illegal. Soldiers are not supposed to use nothing military on the public. They're not supposed to do none of that stuff. So if they came out here doing it, wouldn't that make the government responsible for teaching these people that and then turning around and not keeping them under, what do you call that? Under their control? That's kind of wrong, you know. And then you got people out here going crazy and thinking they going cuckoo, and then they turn around and say that telepathy don't exist. This is this. But you got groups that keep doing all this research and finding out the government has been doing certain things for a long time. You know, like the MK Ultra. You know, I remember I first looked up. I found out about Mick Ultra. I called it Mick Ultra. Then there was Mick Naomi. Then there was Mick Delta. And then it was another one. Then they turned around and called it something else. I started researching up on it. You know, I ran across a lot of different things, and I was like, wow. You mean to tell me this is real? You know, but none of it actually talks about telepathy. It talks about mind control, but if you had the use of telepathy, wouldn't that be a form of mind control? Meaning, you can lead a mind to think whatever it is that you wanted to think. In other words, you just enslaved another person's mind. Slavery in all its forms is actually illegal in this country. Not just in the United States Constitution, but also in the United Nations Constitution as well. A lot of people don't know the United Nations has a constitution too. And there's a reason why the United Nations was placed in this position of authority. You know, because they're supposed to be like the higher authority above that of the United Nations. That's why the United States has a representative like President George Bush used to have Condoleezza Rice in there to try to persuade them onto the United States' side. They're supposed to be actually above the United States and all the rest of the countries. They're supposed to be the governing authority above all the other countries, over the other countries. And a lot of people don't know that. Right now, where I am, I believe this is. Matter of fact, I'm about to look on my receipt. This is Missouri. Yeah, I'm in Missouri right now. Again, I just left Iowa. I was in Iowa I just literally just crossed the border. Not even like maybe 20 miles back. But anyways, I had I was thinking about the United Nations is like the governing authority above all the other countries out there. You know, especially if the United States, Russia, all the main countries, the little third world countries really had no say-so, so they are under the governing authority of it too. Even though they may not be member states. They call them states, but really member nations. So therefore, if you really think about it, the things that the United States government does wrong, they have to answer to somebody too. The governing authority above that is the United Nations. And so, when you have things that you just can't get done here in the United States court system, started at the district court, then you move it up to the next level of the court system, which is I forget the name of it, and then you have the appellate court, and then you have the highest court authority, the Supreme Court. If you can't get it done in the Supreme Court, they say forget about it. No, you don't have to forget about it, because there's another court above them. It's called the General Assembly. That's where you have to go above them, above the United States, and go to the next level. If you really want to get things done, and you can't get it done in your country, that's where you got to go, United Nations. If you can't go to the United Nations, then I guess they say hope to hell that God actually helps you out. And which in a sense, people claim that they actually believe in God, but they don't obey what He say. So you have to look at it for what it is. Alright, this want me to turn off. Turn left on each one. But anyways, like I said, You know what? Why would I be going north when I'm supposed to be? I'm going headed all completely. You know what? I'm getting back on 35. That don't make no sense. I'm supposed to be going south, so I'm gonna get back on this freeway on the interstate. I don't know why it would take me off of I-35, because I-35 take me all the way exactly where I'm going in the first place. So that's what I'm gonna do. Instead of following this GPS, I'm gonna follow this all the way down. Take 35 all the way down. But anyway, I was just thinking about that, you know, because when you go through a lot of stuff and the people just won't listen. I mean, it's crazy, because you even got a president that's in office that, you know what I'm saying, I understood exactly what he was saying. I understood exactly what he was saying. A lot of them countries over in the United Nations wasn't pulling their weight when it comes to the United Nations, and so he's feeling like, why should there be a governing authority above him that has a lot of member nations in which they're not putting in the amount of money that they're supposed to be putting in, or in other words, he want them to put in as much as the United States put in. But he got to remember, the United States is a much bigger economy than their economies are. Everybody comes to the United States to make their money. Every country all across the earth comes to the United States to make their money, and then they ship it back to their home countries and enrich their economies. America is the land of milk and honey to a lot of other countries, because American consumers, man, we just see what we like and we go buy it, whether we need it or not. You know what I'm saying? We are living in what is called excess, which is why you have all this exports of goods, imports. And then you have the, you know what I'm saying, and the trucking industry has to freight all that stuff all across the country, you know what I'm saying, so the goods and wares can get sold. And the same thing for boats and trains and all the other good stuff. The boats bring it in, planes bring it in. The trains and the trucks take it across the country. So that's how it is. So it's like, what I was getting at is, I'm looking at how we have a president who actually took the United States out of the as a member out of the United Nations. We're no longer a member of the United Nations because we claimed it was unfair for us to be putting in so much money, and all these other countries are not putting in nearly as much. But these smaller countries, they're not worth all the trillions of dollars or whatever it is, and able to contribute $200 and $300 billion or $50 billion or whatever it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? That's all their prince and kings are worth. You want them to give all that they are worth, but you as the president running this country would not take your whole bank account and give it like that. So in other words, he wants everybody to gift us because we're at the top, but we're not giving them anything unless they gift us. So now you have to ask yourself, what happened to what is called equal representation under the law? What happened to equal protection under the law? That's the same thing here in this country. That's like I'm the president. I won't listen to nothing you say unless you're contributing to my fund so I can get reelected. That's wrong. because there is such a thing that's written into the Constitution that's called equal protection under the law. I think that falls up under the 4th Amendment to the Constitution. You being the president, yeah, you're the big dog in the country, but at the same time, you took that office as governing authority over the whole entire country. That means if I have a problem, or if I have something that I need to get taken care of, I should be able to come to you and get it taken care of. You're not supposed to overlook me unless I'm contributing to your fund. Now that's what you would call extortion. You're extorting the people. That's just like going into the United Nations. You tried to extort the United Nations. Come on, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I got mad love for President Trump, but I'm just saying, wrong is wrong, man. And some of the stuff that he did literally was a type of extortion. You know, but the craziest thing is, it's not just President Trump. It's all the people in holding those government offices. They don't listen to you unless you actually contributing to their fund to help them get reelected. And that's wrong of them to do that. Really, that's wrong of them to do that. That means nobody will ever have justice, which is why you have so many poor people crying aloud to the government to get things taken care of, and then it doesn't get taken care of. So that's the reason why you have the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. The rich is holding on to certain things. You know what I'm saying? They're going to show you a few things to help you get along, you know what I'm saying? Because they need you to survive in order to make their wares so they can go sell it and make a hell of a profit and pay you pennies on the dollar just for doing your hard manual labor. You understand what I'm saying? And they going to keep the bulk of the knowledge and pass it on to their children and then their children's children. They pass it along in their families. That's why it's steadily enriching their families, but it's not enriching you, even though you, so-called, are following up under the things that they teach. You just can't get ahead regardless of what you do. You know what I'm saying? It's like their family is the secret society itself. But then they have a secret society. They are the secret society within a secret society, so to speak. Sounds crazy, but it is what it is. Like you had Freemasons, you had the Illuminati, you have all these other what do you call it, the Skull and Bones, you know what I'm saying? But each one of them are made up of members, but each member has a family, so they holding certain information from the secret society. The secret society is Skull and Bones, but each member has their own family. And though that family is like a secret society to itself inside of that secret society. You understand what I'm saying now? And each family has a certain set of secrets that they're holding, and they're only going to tell so much to the Skull and Bones as a whole, but the bulk of it is held within their family. And this is why the Bush family fell under such scrutiny, because they didn't teach everybody everything that they was doing, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they was putting it down and making the world change, you know what I'm saying? And how they saw fit. That's like the Bilderbergs. You had the Bilderberg group. You see what I'm saying? And you got the Bilderberg family. They say that they're actually ruling the whole entire earth and everything. And they hold this secret meeting where they come up with policies and everything that's going to rule each and every single country all across the earth. That's a family. That's a secret society. But that secret society belongs to another secret society. They're a secret society within a secret society. You understand what I'm saying? They're at the top, so to speak, because they're the ones that actually group together instead of trying to rip each other apart. They watch all the other families rip each other apart trying to gain success, while they are the ones, the epitome of success, because they're actually ruling everything. Because guess what? They did what you did. They clung together. You do not see the Bilderbergers in the media or on the air ripping into each other, or talk about each other and try to expose each other's secrets. You don't see that. You don't see that going on about the royal family, which is what they call the Illuminati. But really, you know what I'm saying, Illuminati came out of Germany. It's the Bavarian Illuminati. That's the original Illuminati. It was originally called the Men of Oak. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff that's going on out here that you listen to a lot of these people on this YouTube. They can tell you some good stuff, but they really don't know what the hell they talking about. That's like you as a let's look at a king. Let's look at a king. You had the king, then you had the king's family. You had the queen and her family. They're the dukes. They're the earls, the viscounts. I used to think it was just called count, but it's called viscount. And then, you know what I'm saying, viscount is the lowest that you can go. People think that baron is a title of royalty, in which it is, but it's not a part of the original royal lines. A baron is simply called a landowner. It's somebody that gained the respect or the favor of the royal family and was granted land, a land mass. And you know where that baron came from? Not out of the royal lines, but the baron came from amongst what is called the serfs. The serfs are the loyal royal subjects, in which did all the hard manual labor and got taxed half to fucking death to enrich the king and queen and all the princes and all the earls, and the viscounts and the barons. The barons had to pay it too. You know what I'm saying? They all had to pay the king and queen. You know what I'm saying? Each one owned serfs, or in other words, slaves. That's what the actual normal people are really looking like to the real royal families. They're looking at them as serfs or slaves, or even what is considered peasants. Peasants, or peasants, or however you want to say it. And so when you look at it, the barons, the serfs, the barons get a little trickle-down information from the royal families. But the main ones that's taught everything is from the viscounts on up. They have a whole nother different type of education that they get than that of the serfs or the peasants. You know, and so the serfs and the peasants are trained in the educational system on how to build a society, or build the country, or build products, and how to sell it and all the other stuff. But the royal houses are taught how to rule. So it's certain things that's the same. You know what I'm saying? You still got math, science. You know what I'm saying? Math and science is the same. But when it comes to world history, the royal houses are taught a different version of the history than is being taught to the serfs and the peasants. So in other words, you bring it to American terms, you got the Ivy League schools. That's the people who are being put in the top positions, and they're taught how to rule. You see what I'm saying? And then you had the smaller you had the smaller colleges and everything on down they're teaching the serfs and the so-called peasants, or in other words, the American citizens, how to labor, how to build, and how to sell, and everything else, but they're not taught how to rule. They're given a different version of history than that in the Ivy Leagues. You know, so the Ivy Leagues are taught the real reason behind everything. But even with this country being as great as it is, it still bows down to that of the royal houses overseas, because the royal houses is the ones that's actually ruling the whole entire earth, whether you believe it or not. And that's the royal houses out of the European government, the UK. That even includes Britain, even though they just had Brexit, you know what I'm saying? They just had, which is Britain exiting the Union of the UK. And I can tell you this, it's a whole, once you start thinking the way a royal person would think about life and society, and how to actually keep the people under your grasp, under your thumb, so you can rule over them and get them to continue doing all their hard, strenuous labor, paying you taxes and all this other stuff. Once you start thinking about from that point of view, you start viewing the world a lot different. You start looking at history different. Like Her Majesty the Queen, she's old. They say she has no power whatsoever, but really, if she don't like what's going on in what is called the House of Commons, you have over in their country, they have the House of Commons, which is the common folk, or in other words, the serfs and peasants. And then they have and within that House of Commons, the one who rules it is the Prime Minister. Or in other words, he's the minister that was elected to that office from amongst the church. So really, it's a battle between the royal house, which is called the House of Lords. The House of Lords is the royal family. You don't find barons in the House of Lords. You find that off down in the House of Commons. It gets deep, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the Prime Minister argues against the Lords, or in other words, the royal family, trying to get things done in the country. It's like union. The Prime Minister is the union representative of the whole entire union, but the House of Lords is the actual company that presides over everything. Without the permission or say-so of the House of Lords, the House of Commons gets nothing done. And so the reason why they came together like that is to stop all the battling that they was having, because the serfs and the peasantry was starting to rise up against the royal house, which is why you have what is